picking this back up with Johnny Nelson. Johnny, Canelo Alvarez, pound for pound, one of the best in the world.
I know what you're saying.
Still doing his thing. Jaime Munguia, young pup. Oscar de la Hoya's new charge against former star of the stable. Yeah. Talk to me about this fight. Las Vegas is going to light up for it. Cinco de Mayo weekend. It's Canelo's weekend.
Experience is everything. Remember when Canelo boxed Floyd Mayweather? Mm-hmm. And I thought, Floyd, what are you doing, man? You know, he's cashing out because it's a big, tough fight. Look what Floyd did to him. Canelo has experience, and one thing you can't buy, borrow, or pretend to have. It's his path. It's his turf. Mm-hmm. It's his week. It's his stage. To be on such a stage, to be in with such an accomplished fighter in Canelo, I am telling you now, it's going to make a difference. And then it's down to the skill of Canelo. Canelo's no fool. You know, he's going to put himself in a position where, you know what, he wouldn't have done this. He wouldn't have put himself in this position if he thought it's something that he could get 10-0 with. I lean towards Canelo all the way. I think this guy is not the fighter he was, but the fighter he is beats most fighters in the world.
When you look at someone like Canelo Alvarez's resume, I feel like we're coming into this era now of boxing where it's the good others where a loss doesn't define you. You see Wilder and Zhang have both lost, bang, straight back in. Thank God, nobody cares. We just want to see good fights. Canelo's got a resume of a who's who of a modern day great, even though he took a defeat to Dimitri Bivol and Floyd Mayweather, like who's pound for pound potentially the greatest of all time in a lot of people's eyes. Have your arguments about that. And Bivol, who's now fighting for undisputed against Benavidez. How much does them experiences, the defeat to Floyd Mayweather and the tough fights he's taken, when you look at that resume and the names, how much has that helped him throughout his career?
Well, the only way you get wisdom is going through experiences, but those experiences have got to be both good and bad, and so you can't just have the good times, because if you're just having the good times, when you come across the bad times, you can't handle them, and that's when you disappear. I've seen fighters that once they've lost once, they've never been the same fighter again. I think winning, losing and drawing, if you understand all aspects of our sport, then once you've collected that wisdom, that knowledge, you'll never get beaten. Mm-hmm. And I think, you know, Canelo has felt he's tasted defeat, and it must have burnt him. So therefore, he don't want to do that again. And he knows what he did, what he didn't do, what worked, what didn't work. And this is what winning and losing is about. And you know, I think having that unbeaten record is more of a commercial sale.
Someone's always got to go.
And that sells it well. You can get the crowd thinking, oh my God, this guy's unbeatable. He's a blah blah blah. It gets the crowd in. In reality, to me, it don't mean jack diddly. You know, it don't mean anything.
Is this fight now his way of saying, you know what, bring Munguia in? He's a really solid opponent, and Munguia could go on to achieve great things, and you know he might beat Canelo. We just don't know. But if Canelo gets past, he's still got, I think, a fight left with the PBC. Do we eventually get to see him and David Benavidez fight?
I don't think that fight will ever happen.
Mega though.
It's a great fight. But I don't think it'll happen. I think you've got two mirror images of fighters in each other, but I just don't think it'll happen. I think that is, I'd love to see him, but I think Canelo is an old Jamaican saying, "Doppy no for frightened," which means a ghost will frighten and terrorise the people that he knows will be scared of him. I think Canelo knows, you know what, maybe in my day, but right now, I think you'll be a little bit too much.
Canelo's never done challenging. You see, he wanted to fight the rematch with Dimitri Bivol at the same weight. I know Dimitri was like, no, you know what, at that time, I'll take a few pounds and I'll fight for all your belts. So he's always like strived for it. Even though he took a defeat, he's bounced into a big fight, you know, Golovkin 3 times or whatever. Can you honestly say if they go, look, this is your check, a defeat won't harm his legacy, no matter what happens in that fight, unless it was, well, it wouldn't, even if it was a first round knockout, he's still creating it.
Okay, depends on how big the check is, because, you know, you've heard him, you know,
I think you referenced he wanted to give me a couple $100 million, and I was like, wow, for that?
Yeah, so therefore, you know, you want to do it, you know, I'm going to make you pay for it. And that's it, so I get that, you know, there's a price out there, so if the money's on the table, he'll do it, but I think in reality, you don't need it.
Do you think right now, if they both fight, Benavidez would go into it as a favourite?
Yes, I do. I think too big, too strong. Yes, I do.
Coming up to the Vegas fight, we're going to ask you. Del Hoya at the press conference very quiet. I think Canelo made some comments about Del Hoya. Do you expect these two next week to have a little bit of a back and forth, because we know how sour that ended, and we know Oscar's flamboyant comes in, and Canelo's very cold. But when he's called upon, you've seen it. I think we see it more now because of his English. He just goes, right, I'm just going to set about. Can you see that being a potential firecracker?
I think Oscar knows that my mind's got a bit spiky. I think Oscar will behave himself. He'll probably get Bernard to do the talking. But
either one though,
but I think Oscar will just subtly just step back into the shadows. I don't think Oscar will get in his face because Canelo switching on him. We don't want that, because you never know. One thing Frank Warren said to me when he was my promoter, he said, Johnny, I have to work with a lot of people I don't like, and so
it's business at the end of the day.
Business. And so Canelo doesn't want to burn. Oscar doesn't want to burn that bridge, so I don't think he'll burn that bridge. Every bridge is buildable. Every bridge is buildable. So no matter how bad it's out,
I think he'll throw a cheeky comment in there and say, we believe rah rah rah, and really sort of twist the knife without maybe getting in his face, without doing this. From either or.
Of course, he's got to promote his charge.
Yeah.
That's what he's got to do. But I think he'll only go so far.
How does the fight end? Munguia, obviously, terrific fighter, excellent fight. But how do you see it panning out?
I think Canelo wins unanimous points.
Be interesting to see. Look, Las Vegas next week, Cinco de Mayo, be electric weekend, full week. Johnny, appreciate your time as always. Thanks for touching base on a lot of subjects there. I've talked the legs off you, so it's now time to get off. I appreciate your time.
Nice one, boss. Beautiful.